Wagwan, my people. Welcome back to the African Warriors Show. And of course, it's me, your host, TK Mula. We are here to educate, elevate, and most importantly, entertain. And on our show today, we are gonna be speaking about legacy versus getting the bag. And at the end of the show, I'll be telling you what's happening on the entertainment scene. We'll be speaking about what has been happening prior. Last weekend, there was the Amapiano Fest in England. And of course, we will end the show by listening to the top 3 charts in East Africa. And I have some special guests on the show today to help me discuss this topic. And we are listening to a song from Uganda by Marda. It's called Muyayu. Welcome to the African Warriors Show. You are getting us from Jambo Radio. You can get us on www.jamboradio.co.uk. On social media is Jambo Radio Scotland. Welcome to our show. And on the show today, I have some special guests. I will let you meet them in a moment. The show is about legacy. What is a legacy? Is it important to you as a person? In the life we're living right now, it's really tough out here to even make ends meet. People are now just resulting to be happy to just live. Like, it's even an achievement to have, a picket fence, a car, and a job. Most people are not even there yet. You're lucky enough to even get there. So is it important to you to leave a legacy, or is it important that you just get by and you're living a comfortable life? And we happened to lose a person who's a legend in our society in Scotland. And this is why this inspired me to have this topic today. And I'm very fortunate to have his firstborn son on the show. I will let him introduce himself. Please join us and introduce yourself, Kim.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kimani Ndu'ngu. I'm 33 years old, married, got a couple of kids. So husband, family man. Unfortunately, I've recently lost my dad, and I think Tony and I have explored this topic and actually tried to reflect on, once you've lost, a father, a parent, what happens thereafter? Where are you left in terms of how do you pick yourself up? What do you learn from the person? How do you change your life going forward? And hopefully we'll explore some of that later on into the show. But yeah, nice to meet you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And my condolences again to you and your family. I was at the burial, and Kim, you were very strong, and you came out and that's why you're here on the show. We are here to discuss all that. With me in studio is also another person. I'll tell you the reason she's also on the show, but I'll let her introduce herself first.
Thank you for having me. And first, I'll start by passing my condolences to Kim and the family. And my name is Lady Ann Duncan. And what else would you like me to introduce myself with?
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Lady Ann Duncan I know her because we do a lot of things together in other respects, and I thought she'd be a very, very, very good person to have on, because she also played a major role during the burial of Baba Nyaks. She was up and down, running, helping Kina Kim with everything they were doing, and that was amazing. She has also gone through a similar experience. You guys have gone through a similar experience of losing a father figure and your fathers. And that is why we are here to discuss this and speak about now what happens after. You know, this has happened. We have laid Mzee to rest. Now, the people who are remaining, where do you pick up and where do you take it? There's a lot of things to do. See Kim now, the firstborn son. Kim, how are you coping up to now, and how has it been up until this point right now?
Yeah, so it's obviously it's difficult losing a dad, and I can't comment on anyone else's experience, but in my case, you know, I've lost a very loving person. He's been there for me in every way I could have imagined. And being a father myself, I see so much more how much effort he's made to make my life more comfortable, to solve my problems. He was the kind of man that, you know, he didn't criticize or sort of judge. He just supported you with whatever you wanted to do and however you wanted to do, and he allowed you to learn your own lessons through your own mistakes, and he just walked along with you even when he knew you were wrong, let you learn for yourself. So I think it's difficult to imagine receiving that kind of love and support from another person in life.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to imagine that I'll have to do without that. But at the same time, I'm grateful for opportunity that I had, the time that I had with him, and that experience, and growing up in his stewardship. So yeah, it's bittersweet. You know, I'm so glad I had the time I had with him, and it just sucks that he's gone. But I've got to be grateful for what I got and not focus on what I never did.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
You also went through a similar kind of experience.
Yeah.
Yours has right now a little bit of time has passed compared to Kim. How are you, and how has the experience affected you since the passing?
Yeah. So yeah, it's really hard. You know, even now, it's been a couple of years. I lost my dad in December 2019. And people say it gets easier. Time heals. To some extent, it's true. But every time you're going back to think about having memories, good memories of your dad, or, you know, that person who you really loved and cared, and who cared for you, who was there, like, in every area, like he was the hero in the family, you know, holding everybody together. And, you know, you've lost a pillar. So it's never the same, you know, it's never the same. And I don't know how it'll feel a couple of years ahead, like from now. But I can say it gets slightly easier, but it's not that easy. And considering, like, as Kim has said, this is a person who, my dad was my friend. He was my best friend. Yeah. And I was very, very close to him. And I knew I had, you see, like when you mess up and you're like, oh, what's my plan B? He was always my plan A. And I would have a plan B. I would
you knew that someone a backup.
I knew my plans weren't as good as, you know, as sure as me failing and having to bounce back from him. So
I want us to go to some music, but there's something about I've heard stories about your father, and now I met Baba Nyaks. There's a similarity between you guys' fathers. They moved people. You saw the turnout at the funeral. Then you guys are also similar in the fact that you're both the oldest siblings in both the families. So there's kind of, the eye goes to you. The shift now goes to you. You know, everybody might be looking at Kim now. Now it's Kim who's like the head of the household. That has also its thing, you know. It's a kind of a weight, and I want to hear what you guys are thinking, or, you know, that is now, these guys have left a legacy. They were, you know, people who have affected and touched a lot of lives. what do you feel about that and how you think it will affect your lives? Now we're going to go to a song. The next song is called Kamyeso by Major featuring Calligraph, and then we come back. I remember I used to enjoy a little bit of a drink with Baba Nyaks. Yeah. and those are the times he used to tell you the give you the advice when you're sitting down with him at Calabash. Let's go, Kamyeso. Yo, we're back. I'm in studio with Lady Anne Duncan and online joined by Kim. Before we left, I just said I would like to hear what you guys now think about the point you're in right now. I think we should start with Kim, and then you will tell us, because you've had a little bit more time, So Kim, to you.
Yeah, I think the, in terms of what happens once you lose your parent and there's an expectation on you to maybe provide some guidance,
exactly,
do some of what he used to do. So I think, I'm fortunate because my father has not passed away suddenly.
Yeah.
So he's been unwell. We didn't know when, but we knew that something was in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So, over the last few years, we spent a lot of time together. He's obviously been a big part of my life. He's shared, with me his ways, his friends, his perspectives. And so he was a very transparent man. He was a man that was clear in his values, clear in what he cares about, but also open to not necessarily myself, but to his children and his wife and even his friends. So we're no longer in a place where he's gone and we don't know what to do. I think many people that know him, presented with a situation and you're asked, what do you think Baba Nyaks would do? I think most people would make a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
Just because he lived his life, with principles and good values. So, but the other thing he's taught us as a family, and I think even to his friends, is, it's very important for you to be yourself. Being yourself means that I'm not trying to be my father. I'm trying to be me.
Exactly.
I'm trying to be the best version of me, in the same way as he was him and he was the best version of him.
Yes.
So, not having that pressure of, thinking my dad is expecting me to do what he was doing is a great relief. But at the same time, he was a very encouraging man, gave a lot of affirmation. So I think during my time, the time we spent with him, and quite a lot of time during the last year or so, his ideas, do what you think is right, do what you believe, listen to your gut, listen to your heart, listen to your God, and those will guide you, and they'll guide you to the right place that you need to be. But at the same time, you have doubts, so there'll be people that criticize you.
I know, right?
But you never let that voice overshadow your God and your gut and even him on your shoulder telling you, let's do this, let's do that, or remembering his values and how he lived. So you push forward, listen to your God, listen to your heart, be brave, don't be scared of making mistakes, don't feel bad when people don't see your way, but eventually you'll get to where you need to be.
Anne.
Yeah. In so many ways, I'm agreeing with you, Kim, especially the kind of dads we're talking about here,
larger than life.
Yes. And they had a way of life that, you wonder how they touched so many lives, and they did outstanding things. It's one person doing so much, and it's until another person comes out and says, this is what he did for me, or this is how I know him, and you're like, when did he even do that?
Exactly.
And when you look at your own life, then it's, I think I'm doing my best, but I can't match up with that person. So when for example, when my dad passed on, there was a lot of pressure, not even from myself, because he, I was also lucky to be supported to be me, in every way, and be a go-getter with the things and the abilities that I had, and the way I was mentored and brought up.
Yeah.
But when he passed on, so many people, because we are 4 girls and our brother is the last born, and I was like my dad's trustee, I was like that boy that I was meant probably to be a boy who's gonna be like, after dad it's me. So the pressure came from people around me, even now, expecting, how you carrying this legacy of this man, you've
what
got the mantle, you have to, what are you going to do?
What are you doing? Shadow.
Yes, but on my side, I also have that pressure to some extent, because I knew and I still know what he expected of me, because he was a cheerleader. He was like the biggest cheerleader, the biggest supporter. He's not there. There's also that struggle of keeping up with what I was and who I really
even
am.
In his absence, right?
In his absence.
Okay.
And then there's also another pressure of his legacy needs to continue. Because in so many ways, there's so many areas of my life that was influenced by him. And they need to continue. And without him, sometimes I don't know how to continue without his guidance.
Like, that is now something to, like, Kim now. Will you now have more of a hands-on approach than you had before, even with dad's business and stuff like that, because of continuity of what he did and was doing? Or what do you think about that?
So I think sometimes leadership can appear as, being visible, maybe being the boss. I think maybe a lot of ideas about leadership may be derived from maybe like politicians, church leaders, and that kind of thing. But I think, I'm blessed with siblings, sisters, cousins, friends, networks. And I believe my dad's superpower was in working together with people, putting you, I understand who you are, accept you as you are, and find the right place for you and me to collaborate that makes you shine and feel fulfilled, and vice versa. So I think that's what I'd like to try and emulate from my dad. I wouldn't like to be the kind of guy that tries to sit on the front and try and draw attention to himself, but like a lot of people that meant something to him, both inside the family and his close friends and network. I'd love to engage, I'd love to continue to play a part in filling the gap that he's left us, because, as you observed during the funeral planning, I know Anne was a big part of that. Everyone has stepped up as an individual, and all of a sudden, as a society, we have hundreds of people stepping up. And so despite the loss of one, we're all inspired, we're fired up, and we're all doing better. So I think the idea is to continue to enable people to be their best. And as they be their best, we find the right place for them to continue to push and build his legacy, continue to be a part of the society he cared so much about. And continue to make us a better people as a whole. So it's not really about me, it's about all of us stepping up jointly and actually pulling together to be counted as one force.
Thank you so much for saying that. I remember there's a lot of stories that also came up, even Kim yourself, you're telling me stories about dad prior to even Calabash and stuff. And when you hear things like that would not have ever come up maybe. Because now we were speaking about him and Kim was like telling me, there was things before even this happened, and you can see the journey, and it's so encouraging to see, okay, dad has left, but did you see how many things he did within that time? And we have basically the same amount of time, but do we use it to or will we ever use it to get to that point? I want us to do some more music. There's a new song, or at least it's new to me, by Bien. I love this song. Inaitwa Inauma. But Inauma because, pia kwa, like, let's say, we were speaking with Kim yesterday and talking about mom, how dad was dad because of mom, you know. Their bond is
And
what
again-
helped. Yeah.
And again, they say behind every successful man, there
There's
is a great woman.
A strong one.
So, yeah, and a strong one.
I think this song
Yeah.
describes a man feeling that they have been left by a great woman. Tusikize bien sauti sol. Duniani ni kuzoea. Inauma but inabidi uzoee. That's what I've been singing, by the way, because pia mimi naumwa. We are back, and now we want to discuss the legacy versus the bag. Kim, what is important for you? And you have to consider everything that's happening in the world right now, how it's getting tougher to even just get by and survive. Then there's also, like we were talking about, pressure to fill the shoes that have been left. Is it too hard to even achieve or to get to a place where you can leave a legacy? Is it just good enough that you survive and you have a picket fence, one car, nini? What do you think, Kim?
Yeah, so I think I definitely relate to what you're saying. It's a tough world out there nowadays. I especially feel that, you know, people that have become adults in the last 10 years have come into a hostile space.
Yeah.
It's almost like all the low-hanging fruit has already been taken. And so, you know, we're coming into a space that's not easy to succeed in. But I also think that, you know, it's also a function of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve in our lives. So if you're trying to achieve maybe the things that your parents did, it might seem like a very different space that's not geared towards that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're different people. We're in a different time. We're not our parents. So we have to figure out for ourselves what's important to us and what do we care about. And I do think some things are better for us than they were for our parents. So there's someone that was saying to me, I think just a couple of days ago, they say to me that the barrier to where you can go is no longer access. It's now inspiration. So if you're inspired enough, there's enough information to let you do just about anything. Just about anything. So the thing for us is, you know, in our parents' age, they needed to be in a certain country, in a certain place, you know, maybe in a certain university, getting a certain degree with someone paying for it in order for them to be who they are. We don't have that barrier anymore. But coming back to, you know, generations past, I believe the greatest gift as a father you can give a child, and this is the greatest gift my own father has given me, is self-belief. You know, by standing by me, by letting me make mistakes, by not being critical of the mistakes I made, by understanding that those mistakes would eventually lead to accrued wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm most grateful for, because in a sense, I know it's rough for our generation, but I'm not really scared at all. I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I know that we can do it. And I can see very clearly what advantages we have they didn't have. And where we're starting from against where they started from, they fought a great war, but it's our time to fight. And we know everything that they taught us. We know everything that we've learned outside of their influence. And so you can, you know, they talk about teaching a man how to fish versus giving him a fish.
Exactly.
So I feel like personally, I've been taught how to fish, and I've been taught by a great teacher. So now the ocean's here.
It's time to go fishing.
To put it into practice.
And do you think
so
the like the way you're saying we have better opportunities right now than, you know, what our fathers and parents had to work with? And do you think the young people right now are actually maximizing what is available to them to even go further, or do you think they're just using it from social media to internet to everything, are they just using for entertainment, or are we actually, especially as Black African people who are in this country, are we using all these things that are at our disposal to try and even achieve these legacies that we are talking about?
What I think is, it depends on a person, because there's so many people who are running away with the opportunities and diving deep, because all these opportunities that this country provide, and the technology and the internet, and they are using that to achieve unimaginable things. But again, you had mentioned tough times. The cost of living has gone up. So, for example, if you want to do a podcast, it takes money for you to set up and be able to do that. It takes money to go and take an extra course to be able to equip yourself, so that, because it's very competitive, you won't just go out there and do some cliche thing. You need to empower yourself and with either equipment or knowledge, so that you go out there and outstand and actually fight like another shark. There's so many sharks out there. So as for me, I'm kind of like scared and not scared in this way. Times are really, really hard. Competition is really, tough as
Cutthroat.
well.
Right now, a young man in Kenya can be competing with your child here.
Yes.
Because the person in Kenya amefikiria and jumped online.
Yes.
He has a following, I don't know what.
Yeah.
And he's just back home.
Yeah. So it's a global village. You're not only competing with people around you just in your city. It's a global competition. So it's about positioning yourself, also knowing what your purpose is, not trying to fill in something from somewhere. When you know what your purpose is and you follow that belief, it doesn't matter whether you have money to start. You just go for it and go big, and it does not even matter. Like you don't even think, it's like passion. You don't think about the money. You're thinking about, how do I accomplish this?
So as you two people are young parents, right?
Yeah.
So will you be able, because now even how your father raised you, it's different now.
Yeah.
I think. So will you be able to translate the world so that your child is motivated? Especially in this country where things are not as tough as some other places. How do you translate that to your child so that they do things and are passionate enough? Because passion takes things even higher. Because as I've said, is it about just you want to live and have a comfortable life? Do you want to push and be all you can be? How do you inspire your own children while you're raising them? How do you translate to give them that, Kim?
So that's probably the most difficult thing to pin down that I know of.
Yeah.
If there was a way to guarantee that outcome, if we could sell this secret to many
we'll be selling like self-help groups and books and stuff. Yeah.
So I think it's difficult, but it's not to say that we don't know roughly what direction we need to be headed in.
Yes.
So I think listening to Anne, and I hear a lot of my own life in Anne's, sometimes what people need is a really reliable safety net, which allows them to jump out there and explore and try and do everything, because they're not scared that if it doesn't work, everything is over. They know that there'll be someone there to hold them without condemnation and to push them on, spur them on to go again. So for me as a father, I think allowing my children to feel comfortable taking risks, because they know that even if it doesn't work and they come to me, I'll be there, I'll love them the same, I'll support them. I think that's one of the things that I'm very keen to do, because we all know children from our backgrounds who are talented in one thing or the other. Unfortunately, the parents were not willing to support that.
Exactly.
But actually, you can be very successful selling toilet paper. The very, very best makeup toilet paper in the world.
There might be a billionaire who just owns the toilet paper company. Yeah.
So as long as you're doing something you love and you really care about, and you're willing to do it to the absolute very best that it can be done, you can get to where you need to go. You just need people to believe in you, support you, and stand with you, even when it's difficult and dark.
I think I knew you already already doing this, because I've seen your child is on social media doing saving the world. What?
Saving
Something
the
about
world.
conservation.
She's a climate change activist. She's 11 years old.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
she's made me sit on platforms that I'm an activist, and I've not stepped on some platforms until she got there.
But is it from her, or is it you pushing her? Like, is it her thing?
The journey. So this is how it started.
And how do you encourage it? Yeah.
I used to take her to most of my events. I exposed her to even understand why I was doing what I was doing, because it all started as a passion when I had a full-time job, advocacy for the elderly in Kenya. And then she used to come in, and I remember there's a time we went to see this old man, and she, and the following weekend we were supposed to go buy her a bike. She said she was about 5 years old, and she said, "Mom, I don't want the bike. You remember the old man where we visited?
Yeah.
Can we put that money towards his house?" And I was like, oh, that was, and she, even when I told her, okay, I'm going to put that money and an equivalent amount and buy you a bike, she was like, no, I don't need a bike now. I can always get another time, So it is leading by example and allowing them to fail, to grow, to incubating them and incubating their ideas and supporting them. Educating them and learning in the process. For example, she's a climate change activist. I'm now very passionate about climate change because of her. Yeah. Because as she's learning, I'm also learning, so that I know what information and content she's being exposed to. So yeah,
that's amazing. So do you think then the bag is not as important as like what the legacy you leave?
For me, I believe if you go for your dreams, if you go for your passion, if you go for your vision and the purpose God has given you, money will follow you.
Money go follow you.
Money go follow you. There's no two ways about it.
So I think Baba Nyaks loved people, and you saw how people came through, because now he created a community himself.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much, Kim. I am so grateful that we got to, talk about that after everything has happened and calmed down, and still, remember him, honor his memory. And this has been an amazing chat. I hope I'll have you both on. I think we have not even scratched the surface. There's a lot of things I would want to discuss with you guys. So please feel free to holler at me whenever you're free. You come on. We have a lot of things we could discuss. And Kim, you have a lot of a wealth of information, especially about this country. And this platform I'm creating is because I want us to be able to, be a source of information, inspiration, and, so people can, get that bag, but still have passion and go for your legacies. So right now I want to play the song by DJ Khalid that's very new on his new album, and to celebrate that, it's called God Did It. I know God did it. I know God did it. That song is dope. It has the biggest artists on it. Just the perfect song to end our show today. Thank you so much, Lady Ann Duncan. Lady Ann Duncan has her own show on Ours FM. Follow her on social media, Lady Ann Duncan on IG and everywhere. She's doing a great job. We'll have you on to discuss you now. What motivates you? Because I see you everywhere, up and down. Kim, thank you so much for gracing the show. Thank you so much. I know you're a very busy person. I want Kim back here one day to talk about what actually Kim does professionally. He has that moolah. That bag we are saying, he has it. Now we want to know how he gets it. Kim, you want to say something?
Yeah, I look forward to the next show.
Thank you so much for joining us on the African Warriors Show. You know we are here to inspire, educate, elevate, and entertain. Nakupenda is playing right now. That's the top hit in East Africa. Thank you so much. We are on www.jamboradio.co.uk. See you next Tuesday, same time. Don't be late, African Warriors.